Brothers and sisters, let me try to impress your mind with this truth that there is nothing that compares in all the world with the Mass. The Mass is utterly holy, which means unique. And utterly unique means it's one of a kind. There's nothing to compare with it in all the world. Now, we are familiar, right, with the way it flows. There's the way you enter into the church, the processional, the reverence of the altar, and then there's the welcome, and then there's the opening collect. The collect means a prayer that all of us sort of collect together to say, even though the priest prays it. Okay. Then there's the liturgy of the word, the Old Testament reading, and then there's a psalm that's sung. And I forgot the antiphons too. There's antiphons in special places, like at the very beginning, and right at the beginning of the Eucharistic part. Those are to focus our minds on the holiness of what's going on. Then there's the gospel, then there's the homily, and then the recitation of the creed, which binds us to the universal church. And then there is the prayers of the faithful. All of this together sends us into a trajectory into the Mass. All of this sends us into a trajectory to the liturgy of the Eucharist. And the Eucharist is a sacrifice where we come together and Christ comes and meets us at the altar. He offers himself to us with his life by taking us in time to that first moment in history, that only moment in history where Christ gave himself for us. It's like a time travel. And it also takes us future to the marriage supper of the Lamb. And all heaven and earth are gathered around each Mass. And our offering, there is a phrase in prayer 3, which I usually do. May he make of us an eternal offering to you. Oh, those words, right? You see, worship doesn't come cheap. It's demanding, where we are willing to give our lives up for Jesus, but also one another. Is there anything else like this in the whole world? We partake of the body and blood of Christ. We become one with him in body, soul, and divinity, and also with the word. We're fortified then to go out and change the world, because that is our mission priority, isn't it? Our mission priority is having a liturgy that brings honor and glory to God. Now, this fits into our gospel, because if everything I said is true about the Mass, and it is true, okay? It is true. Then it's a radical moment of discipleship where we have to count the cost. And that's what the gospel's about. Jesus said, don't even let family get in the way. Wow. And then he gives illustrations about counting the cost. Okay, a king going out with his army, or a man who's going to build a tower or whatever. And then he challenges us about picking up the cross, taking up the cross, and following him. And let nothing hinder us. That attitude is essential for experiencing the Mass as it is in its reality, a radical moment. Now, we want to, in our church, and we are working toward it, creating a liturgy that brings us to the awesomeness of this moment where heaven and earth come together. It should be joyful. Yes, it must be joyful. We must all come with joy in our hearts. But we all must feel the joy together. Although sometimes we don't feel the joy, and that's okay too, because it is an act. That's what worship is. It's an act, even more so than a feeling. It's an act of giving ourselves over to God in this rich drama called the Mass. Nothing's like it in all the world. So this is our second mission priority, okay? And that is to embrace the meaning of the Mass with integrity, okay? Then we'll be able to really reach out in our community. Like last week, we talked about encounter, how fundamentally important it is. And here the Mass, which is the ultimate encounter, right? And then we can be sent out into the world. We're going to talk about sending some other time in another Pastorgram, okay? But what's important here is to realize that Mass in itself is not necessarily evangelistic or an easy entry place into the Catholic world. But if it's done with integrity, then even somebody off the street will come in and say, wow, I've never experienced anything like that. Matter of fact, one young woman came to me and said, I never knew about the Catholic Church. And she came in and she experienced it. I said, how come no one ever told me about this? You see, because people sense the holy. They may not understand any of it, but they sense it. And then they'll say, I want to know more about this. And that's what we need to be here at the church. And so, see you this Sunday as we contemplate these deep and rich realities. God bless.